And you don't always understand maybe some of the things I talk about, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what it is you're preparing for. In spring training, they're preparing for a baseball season. They're working on their skills, they're honing in on how to get better, they're becoming a closer team, they're doing a lot of things. And I mean, every week can start with prepare. And you could go to school for a trade. It's the same thing. You could go, man, I got to prepare for that. And the reason is because if you're not prepared, then you're not going to succeed. And I was, reading an article last week on what are some commonalities among high-performing people. What do they all have in common? Because that's gold. If you're here, I'm here. I want to know, hey, what makes Mike Trout a really good hitter? If I'm a little kid and I want to go, man, I want to be a great hitter too. You can video or go on YouTube and find the guy's swing, and you can look at fundamentals. The reality is some of them will stand straight up and hold the bat up here, some of them hold the bat down here, some of them hold the bat back here, some of them squat, some of them are open, some of them are closed. But the common denominator is at contact, all great hitters are in the same position. Same with golf. Everybody can approach the ball different ways, stand different ways, hold their head different ways. But the common denominator in Tiger or Rory or Phil or whoever, there's a common denominator. And that's at contact, they're pretty much all in the same position. And so when you have that knowledge, right, what is it you got to do in order to be successful? I want to be successful. You got to figure out where's that zone where I'm in the right position. What does that look like for me to be a high performer? And I've got to figure out, it may be different routes. We're all different. We're all wired different. Some of us are natural communicators. Some of us have to work on that. Some of us are really detailed technicians. We see a lot of details. Some of us have other gifts. We like to connect with the homeowner. We see the whole house. We offer solutions naturally. But at the end of the day, you got to execute in a certain time. And so I was reading this article, and there were 4 things that they pointed out that high performers have. And the first one's clarity. And what I mean by that is if I said this question to you, and you wrote it down on a sheet of paper, how clear would you be? If I said to you, what is your job? If I just said, everybody in the room, we're going to take a 2-minute survey, and I want you to write down a paragraph, a few sentences. And I ask you the question, what is your job? What are you being asked to do every day? How would you answer that question? Because that's where clarity's found. What is your job? Anybody volunteer in the room? Anybody? What is your job?
Make customers happy.
Okay, make customers happy. Anybody else?
Do the job right.
Do the job right. What else?
Dustin the tank repair guy.
Huh?
He's the tankless repair guy. Dustin.
Okay. Dustin's job is to repair tankless heaters. Okay. Good. Then do it to the best of your ability. What else? Anybody else? How about provide a great customer experience? Right? Which would involve fixing the problem, taking care of the customer, going the extra mile, being a friend, providing exceptional service, being really good at my craft. Right? Would you all say all those things are included? So, how many of you feel like you have clarity? You know every day when you leave the yard what you're doing, what your mission is. Okay, Johnny does. Michael does. Awesome. Does this not resonate with the rest of you? How many of you have clarity? Craig, we might have to have a lot of meetings. Seriously, this is participation. I'd like to know. How many of you feel like you know what your job is? All right, thank you. Y'all can't actually raise your hands. Awesome. No, just joking, but we need to know what we're doing. And I've heard this over and over and over again. Success is found inside of a clearly defined job description. Meaning, man, I don't have any doubt. I know what I'm supposed to do. If you don't feel clear on that, then sit down seriously with your manager and go, man, can you clarify a few things for me? Because when you know what you're doing, man, if I know I'm a catcher and I show up for spring training, what if I showed up for spring training and they go, hey, catchers and third basemen, you're out there on the foul pole together, warming up. And I just go, I don't know what group, right? You go pitchers, you're in the bullpen. Infielders, middle infielders, you're over here at second base. First baseman, you're here. Outfielders, you're over here. What if I just stand there and I don't really know? What am I? I'm lost. I'm confused, and I'm quite useless, to be honest. But the minute they go, hey, catchers, you're here, and I take off, and I got my gear, and I got my equipment, I know that's my role. I know what I'm supposed to do, right? I understand what position I play on the team. And so when you know that, it gives a lot of confidence because it helps you clarify, hey, what am I being asked to do? And you can meet those expectations because you know what they are. Second thing that was in this article was energy. I can't overspeak this. My son has an interview Friday, my oldest son, and he called me last night and he said, Dad, I'm meeting with this guy. He's really high level. He's president of the whole state of Texas, and I'm having a lunch meeting with him for this is his third interview. And he goes, "You got any pointers?" What do you think I told him? Yeah, be yourself. But I told him, I said, son, you know, one of the things that's important to me if I'm interviewing a person is what kind of energy they have, right? Because I promise you, if I'm sitting in the other conference room where I can see the parking lot and somebody shows up for an interview and they just look like their dog died, just walk into the door, right? They're not cleaned up. They don't look sharp. They don't look bright-eyed. Their head's down. They're walking slow. Their shoulders are slumped. I'm already going, man, I don't know how this is going to go, right? They don't look like they're fired up for a new job. They don't look like they're excited to be here for an interview. They just look like, oh man, I hope they hire me. I'm like, not going to happen, right? What do I want? What's important? And I want people around here that got energy, right? Because high-performing people have energy, meaning I got to sometimes fight through the tiredness. I got to fight through, I got a new baby, I slept 3 hours. I'm going to grind it out. I'm going to bring it every single day. And when somebody's just hardwired that way, and they get out of the car and they check, make sure their shirt's tucked in, and they straighten their shoulders up, and they walk to the door with confidence, I'm kind of already interested, right? They may not know what they're doing, but they're going to do it really well, fast, hard, and they're going to figure it out because the energy is important. I told my son that. I said, son, have some energy about you. Carry yourself in a way that goes, man, I'm ready. That's what I'm saying. You guys connect with that? It means your body says, I'm ready. It's the guy that stands on the sideline of a football game and he follows the coach around because all he's wanting is to get in the game. He goes, dude, I'm ready. Put me in. I got my helmet on. I'm ready. Then the guy that, the coach goes, hey, Williams. And he's over there jacking around at the water cooler with his buddy. He didn't care. The coach calls his name the second time. Williams. What happens the third time? He's going, Whittington. He changed the name. He's done with you. Right? Why? Because you weren't ready. Energy is just a spirit of, I'm ready to go. Right? Guys, you won't get anything done in life if you don't work hard. I'm just telling you, there's no way around it. You got to work hard. People go, man, work is work. It's what we do. You have to work hard. And I don't feel like working hard every day. Jimmy doesn't feel like working hard every day. Craig doesn't feel like working hard every day. But you have to find the energy. It's important. The other thing is productivity. How is high performance measured? Are you productive at the end of the day? Look at your results. Because if your results don't match the effort, you're doing something wrong. Because some people put out a whole lot of effort and they don't get results. So high-performing people produce results. Figure out what inputs create results, right? On a baseball team, for example, one of the things that, people go, well, that guy's only hitting 230. And I go, yeah, that guy's drove in 112 runs. What do I care about more? What wins games? Batting average or runs? Runs. So you see those guys in the lineup that hit 230 and they drive in 120 runs. What's the measure? Productivity, right? If I steal more bases, then I got a more likelihood of scoring. What's the objective of the game? To score more than your opponent, right? So if I got a guy who's really, really fast, I don't care if he hits singles and infield hits, because I know he's going to steal second 80% of the time, right? He's going to get over to third if there's any kind of bobble by the catcher, and that's going to help me win. So productivity means that I do things that matter. So look at the results of your work. You don't want to work for nothing. You want to be productive. Be a productive person. That's what high performers do. The last thing, there's another thing I told my son about his interview. The last thing is confidence. I would say probably one of the biggest areas that we could grow is for you guys to have confidence in what you do. It doesn't mean you know everything. It may mean you're still learning, but you need to be confident in what you do know. You need to be confident in the fact, I just talked about Matt and Blake. They just passed their test. So they need to be confident that, man, I am capable of doing this job. When you show up to a homeowner's house, the last thing you want them to feel or sense from you is you don't know what you're doing. You're there. Jimmy says it all the time. You're a professional. You've earned that, right? You have a truck, equipment, the resources you need, and you should go to the door with confidence knowing that you've put in a lot of work and a lot of effort and a lot of time to know what you know. And it's okay to go, I am the expert. It's not arrogant. It's confident to go, I am the expert here. I'm worth what I'm charging you. I'm going to bring enough value in what I know to provide service at a level that's extraordinary. Believe in yourselves, right? Because if you don't, what happens? It affects how you communicate, how you show up. And if you go to spring training, it's your opportunity to make the team. What's one of the key things to performance? It's confidence. I used to coach kids all the time, and I'd have 12 little kids running around, and they're 10, 11, 12 years old. And I can tell you that some of them weren't that great, but they thought they were. And they usually were pretty good at the end of the day because they didn't care. I love little kids that would get in the batter's box when they were 10 years old, and they would just take rips. I mean, they didn't care. Some of them missed the ball by 6 inches, rupture their spleen, swinging so hard. They're pulling their head. They're just like, wham! And I'm like, you weren't even close. But one day, you're going to figure out something, and you got that free spirit. My hitting advice to little kids was always this: swing hard in case you hit it. Literally. I didn't care if they struck out, but man, what drove me crazy was the little kid that would get in the batter's box, and it'd be like, oh, strike one, strike two, and they're just locked up. And usually there's a dad involved. If you got little kids playing sports, you have a huge impact on your kid because the dad of that kid was just like, come on, Billy, swing the bat, get the bat off your shoulder, you freaking idiot. I mean, that's what it feels like when you're coaching and you hear this guy just lambasting his 8-year-old dude. They don't even know how to put his freaking jock on. And he's like looking in the stands, he's nervous, he's locked up. Why is he locked up? He's got performance anxiety. Because of his dad, probably. But at the end of the day, you watch how they play, right? There's a part of life, you just gotta let it fly. You just gotta, man, you gotta swing hard. And I played that way. You got to play full speed ahead. You go run for a foul ball in foul territory. You can't think about the dugout or the fence. If you want to be on Sports Center, you can't worry about that. You got to go after the ball. You can get stitches and get up and get over it, right? That's confidence. So don't go running into any walls or poles. But I want all of you guys to be high performers. It's achievable. You just got to make some decisions, right? So I hope you know what your job is. I hope you're really clear on what your job is. I hope you have, a lot of energy about you, the right energy, carry yourself well. I hope you're productive and be confident. Know that you're professionals. We know that you're professionals. Proud to work with you guys. Have a great day.